Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Essentially Heroes. I'm back doing another anime compilation video, but this time it's not the best, but the worst. Specifically, I'm checking out top 10 awesome anime moments ruined by terrible animation. So I guess you could call this top 10 anime L's. This is a Watchmojo video. And I was curious. I was like, what's been kind of like the biggest dropping the ball moments in anime as of late? And you know, you see the memes on Twitter, but I actually wanted to know. I was curious. So that's what I'm going to be checking out today. Before I jump in, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, do all the beautiful YouTube things, help us to grow. And with that said, let's jump in. Top 10 awesome anime moments ruined by terrible animation. And
what have you done? I'm Ashley with Watchmojo, and these are the top 10 awesome anime scenes ruined by terrible animation.
yeah.
For this list, we're looking at what
Berserk.
were potentially amazing moments in an anime, either due to its iconic status within
I'm gonna
the
get
manga,
into this a little bit
or
later,
just from
but
the general setup, only for
F
the
Baki,
animation
this shit
department
sucks.
to drop the ball.
I'm gonna get into it later, but
As
just
always, you
that
can
out there.
catch me on Twitter at AshJBo.
Also, respect
so
for the
head over there,
Metabots
give me a follow,
profile
and
pic.
Let me know which manga you think was ruined by its anime.
Respect.
Number 10, Fuchi in the Swamp, Junji Ito collection.
That's true. Junji Ito is probably my favorite in terms of Japanese horror stuff.
His creations are pure nightmare fuel that continue to terrify us to this day.
Yeah, his artwork is not doing his artwork justice.
To besmirch his wig with this little anthology.
What the heck? That was kind of weird. I guess something must have scared him off.
Though, our pick of the litter has to go to the time when one of his most infamous characters, Fuchi the fashion model, rises out of a swamp to scare the bejesus out of Soichi.
You there, boy. Do you know what a bad idea it is to take my photograph without permission?
Not even close.
Not only do they fail to
see, this is what it's supposed to look like.
As her hulking frame ascends from the
Like, just the detail in the artwork, like, you really gonna disrespect Junji Ito like that? Like,
What a creepy.
they really disrespected him with this anime,
Number
man.
9, Garo
But
vs Metal
Uzumaki,
Bat,
that new anime is coming out soon, so, and that looks good actually. Yeah, One Punch Man season 2.
Like a lot of things in this
They definitely dropped the ball a little bit.
It wasn't that the fights were necessarily bad. It's just that
Especially
the
with
plot from
Garo,
season one
since
was
he's like
so painfully
he's
obvious,
definitely one of my favorite
especially when it
characters.
comes to the hero hunter taking on the big guy with an even bigger swing.
Yeah, see, if it was season 1, you would see like every frame of that. You know?
In the manga, this is hailed as one of the best fights, but
You would see
sadly,
every
in the
single
anime, it just gets a passing grade.
frame.
The choppiness of the fight, especially when
Yeah, so that's the thing, is that the animation here wasn't bad, but comparing it to season 1 just makes it look bad. Like, if it was any other anime, this would probably be acceptable, but just the fact that they set the bar so high with season 1, it just doesn't add up. Yeah. Also the fact that like the studio that was doing season 1, they wouldn't be available for a few more years. Would it be worth the wait for season 2, or is the fact that we have season 2 now like any consolation? You know.
Number 8, Ein summons the young ones. Overlord.
I never did get into Overlord, but it looks cool as like a isekai kind of
Not that watching
series.
Ein sacrifice
Not a fan of those
3D
3D soldiers.
We just wish that the Lovecraftian goat demons he summoned as a result looked a little more eldritch than poorly rendered PS2 boss monsters.
It's always looking like PS2
They certainly
graphics.
cause some carnage
Yeah.
and have the intended effect on all of Heinz's foes. But all we can think about is
Not
how
scary.
these hentai rejects are way less scary than some of
Hentai
Nazareth's servant
rejects.
monsters. Admit it, you'd happily take on the giant balls of teeth and tentacles over a date with Neuronist. Number 7, Dumbo
Yeah,
vs.
not great.
Dorian, Bucky.
Alright, so I'm just gonna come out and say this right now. Fuck this anime.
Out of all the cases
Baki,
of
especially the
randomly inserted
Netflix
terrible
series
CGI
specifically,
fight scenes in this show, this the
is
biggest offender,
honestly the worst
which is a
anime
buzzkill
I've
since we
ever
had a
watched in my
host
life.
for
That is a
the
fact. This is the
program
worst
between
anime
Ayanama
I've
and
ever
Spec,
watched in my
as that
life.
Netflix money must have run short.
And I watched some of X-Arm, and I would rather watch X-Arm, an entire
So
season of
instead
X-Arm,
seeing the
than a
ultimate
single
karate
episode of this
practitioner
Baki
devastate a
Netflix
death row
show.
inmate in
You know what I mean?
Glorious 2D, we instead got subjected to what appeared to
Yeah.
be an alpha version of a scrapped Virtua Fighter game. One that kept switching between visual styles in the most janky way possible.
Shit looked like a PlayStation 2 cutscene. Look at this, like they were talking about X-Arm. This is worse.
Overhaul, My Hero Academia.
Ah, even My Hero Academia drops the ball sometimes.
First of all, no, we don't think this fight is
What
terrible.
was that cut?
Not even close. Mirio
They
will
just do
always
a-
be our boy.
do a Premiere
Flashbacks hit us
Pro
in the
transition
feels
on
just
this?
as hard as that spike hit his spleen. The problem is, it could have
Oof.
been so much more.
Yeah, not a fan of the slideshow.
Not sure if they blew their budget.
Not
or
a fan
were
of the
forced to cut
slideshow,
some
my man.
corners, But on reflection, the amount of implemented still shots were very distracting, and was overall a far cry from the series' usual epic hero versus villain clashes. Like seriously, there's barely any
Yeah,
animation here.
either somebody called out sick or something, but that's
Of course, they
That's a
more than
little
made up for it
unacceptable.
when Deku hit that final blow on Overhaul, but it still would have been great to see Mirio get his due.
yeah. Yeah, this was hype. This was hype.
Number 5,
So-
Guts vs. Grunbeld, Berserk.
At least they got it back. Rest in peace, Kentaro Miura.
Were we so desperate
Can't believe
to
they
see Guts
disrespected your
unleash
vision
the
like
Berserker
this.
armor that we were willing to look past the terrible
Like-
CGI?
Like the
Probably.
memes that I've seen
But
of
since
this
that happened last
probably
decade,
don't do justice
now
to
we're
how
free to
bad this
comment
anime
on
was.
just how badly they messed up one of the greatest moments from arguably the greatest manga of all time. We're
Yeah,
talking
just
about when
no
Guts
sense
let
of
his rage consume him,
weight
and in doing
or
so,
hypeness.
became a creature of such power that even a
Like, I don't
demonic
understand
dragon
how this
Grunbeld
happens to popular
failed
anime.
in
Like,
comparison.
why don't they
And
get the
anime
funding they
totally
need?
flubbed it. Watching the helmet shift with such poor animation is actually physically painful.
That don't look like nothing.
Number 4, Saving Saber.
so bad.
Fate Stay Night.
In order for the transplant to take effect,
I tried to get into Fate,
contact between each
and I don't
You
know.
wanna
I just
remove the
couldn't get
canon
into it.
threesome between Saber, Shiro, and Rin in exchange for
I don't
a
even remember
random
which one I
battle
tried
with
to
a
watch. It was
dragon?
just whatever was on
Breaking my
Netflix.
heart, but I'll live with it. Whoa, you want to make said dragon the worst looking computer generated abomination to come out of the 2000s? That's just pouring salt in the wounds. We can
Oh,
understand
Lord.
the studio worrying that
Nah. No way.
Lodges noble phantasm into Saber's holy grail, but did the alternative have to be this crap?
Mm-mm.
Number 3, Bear Attack, Golden Kamui. If watching
Golden
Sugimoto
Kamuy
running
is actually
down his
cool.
way
I didn't
through
finish it
enemy
yet,
lines
but
like a
I
maniac
like
was the
Golden
series
Kamuy.
putting its best foot forward, then the preceding struggle against the weirdly realistic bear is putting the other foot in the grave. Whatever tension this battle may have had was instantly lost when we got a good look at this ball of fur.
Not great. Not great.
I mean, how are we supposed to worry about whether or not Sugimoto and Asupa are going to live to see the
Like, I'm
dawn?
wondering if there are
Looks
other,
just phased through the
like, there's the
bear.
Ora Ora
It's too
thing,
close.
which isn't
It
bad,
sucks
but
because this is one of the most intense moments
I don't know if there's
of
any
the
like
incredible
really
manga.
good looking
Number 2,
fights in
Goku
Golden
versus
Kamuy.
Beerus, Dragon Ball Super.
Really? Even Dragon Ball Super dropping the ball.
Ah, yes. The one
I
battle
can't believe
was
this.
produced and received so terribly that it almost left this sequel series dead on arrival.
Yikes.
Which is kind of perplexing, since we've already seen said fight done right in the movie version released a couple of years earlier.
Yeah, the Dragon Ball Super movies look great. Like, I was watching the Broly one. My God. Like, every scene looked beast.
In an effort to bring down the god of destruction, it looks like the animation is coming apart at the seams with every punch thrown. Would it really have been hard to recycle the film footage? Would have at least spared us from seeing Goku's face melt away between frames.
Yikes. Yeah, get this out of
Before we
here.
continue, be sure to subscribe to
Yeah,
our
even
channel
South
and
Park is
hit the bell to
animated
get
better than
notified
these.
about our latest videos.
What?
You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your
Hot
phone,
take: the
make sure
Iron
to
Man
go
suit
into your
never
settings
looked
and
better
switch on
than
the
it did in
notifications.
the
Number
first two
1,
movies.
Meliodas versus Escanor, the 7 deadly sins.
Oh
Wrath of the
yeah.
Gods.
They really took a dookie on 7 Deadly Sins.
You see, Studio Dean, this is why we're no longer on speaking terms. What in the name of Escanor's godly mustache is this? You
Like,
took the long-anticipated confrontation
how did this
between
happen
evil Meliodas
to such a
and
big
Lion Sin of
series?
Pride, the one fight set to dwarf everything else in the series so far, and treated it with all the care and dignity of a Naruto filler episode.
Yeah. It looks so bad. Like, the characters aren't even like touching anything.
Oh, we saw the
Oh,
animation. We thought we were on new
that was
ground.
disgusting.
The blows have no impact. Escanor looks like a disheveled cosplayer
Yeet,
version of
yeet,
himself,
yeet,
and the
yeet.
reveal packs nowhere near as much of a punch as it should.
Like, this looks like a fan animation. Oh my goodness.
So, which of these scenes did you think was the worst? Let us know in the comments below. Maybe follow this guy on Twitter at AshJBo. Check out this other video, and subscribe to Watchmojo.
Wow. Well, as for which one the worst was, Baki. I would say it has to be Baki, because like, especially in that scene, just having these two PlayStation sprites fight each other was like, it just made my head hurt to think about how that happened. So yeah. And then even also, side note, like, even just in terms of everything else about Baki on Netflix, it was garbage. It was honestly the worst anime I've ever watched. Yeah, so I'll just put that out there. If you want to see like a good fighting anime on Netflix, check out Kengan Ashura. It's really good, it's really interesting, and it makes great use of like 3D graphics. Anyway, yeah, no, those were definitely some big L's, and it's crazy how that happens to like really big series too, because you'd think that they have the funding to kind of like keep everything going smoothly, but that's not always the case, I guess. In terms of like, all right, so in terms of like adding on to that list with like more recent additions, One I would say is Record of Ragnarok, 100%, because with that series, it basically did the same thing as Seven Deadly Sins, where it takes like this really awesome looking fight and just completely phones it in, like just all this flash animation BS, like not a single frame of Sakuga, like all of that out the window with Record of Ragnarok. Which sucks because like the fights are just so kinetic and intense in the manga that like, I'm not even being like a manga snob. Like if you look at the manga, like it doesn't even look like the anime. So yeah, that's one. And then the other one I would nominate actually is The Promised Neverland season 2. All right, hear me out. Because if you're watching The Promised Neverland season 2, you're at least thinking like, I mean, this is fine, this is serviceable, for what it is. It's not like a fighting series or anything like that. But if you take into the account that they squeezed in like 3 seasons worth of material into like a 60-second slideshow, then I think that can qualify for like worst animation of all time, because it's just not animated, like at all. It's literally not animated. Like forget Mirio versus Overhaul. Like Promised Neverland season 2 really went hard with the slideshow, like it's not even close. So those are my 2 nominations. What would you guys nominate for worst, like just anime moments ruined by animation? Like just the List of L's. Let me know in the comments below. And with that said, I am out of here. Peace.